Your health, because your health is your wealth and the wealth of those who care about and love you. It's time for Let's Talk Nutrition with Dr. Michael Garko. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition. Great to be with you. Thanks for stopping by today. And hope you had a wonderful weekend and you got a good start to your week, doing the things that you need to do to take care of yourself. Oh, okay, you forgot. It's okay. We're here. We'll help you. We'll help remind you gently. And Dr. Alan Logan will be the guest today. Dr. Logan's very good.
I like Dr. Logan.
Oh, man. That boy knows what he's talking about. Well-trained, thoughtful. He's not a clinician. He's a naturopathic physician, but he's a researcher.
That's a big deal, being a researcher.
Well, that's what I did my whole career.
I mean, that's a big step. I mean, because
It is. And it's interesting how it all works out. You know, he went to the Canadian School of Naturopathic Medicine, the Canadian College of Naturopathic Medicine. My PhD is in communication theory and research. Communication, and I specialized in theory and research. And so you gain your tool. It's interesting. He went one route, I went another, end up sort of in the same place. And this is an evidence-based show. And we talk about evidence-based nutrition, evidence-based lifestyle. Years ago, health talk shows, it was just this sort of freewheeling, throw it out there opinion kind of model. Diagnosing and treating all over the place. When we started this show 12 years ago, I said, I'm not doing that. The way we do it around here, it's a little more challenging. Because you just can't walk in the door. Somebody keys, Stephen keys the mics on his board, makes the mics hot, and you start talking and popping off opinions.
There's a lot that goes into this show that nobody knows about.
Of course not. As with any show, to produce it, all behind the scenes. But what happens on air, much of it is determined before you go on air. And so the show has made its way because we talk about things that work. And we talk, and you have to try that. You have to try to do that the best you can. There's not 100% certainty. So you look to science, you look to years of experience, and you look for patterns. And then you share that with the audience because the audience is looking for guidance and direction. And the show is to educate and empower people to take charge of their health and to do it in an entertaining way. So that you don't get, so that the show doesn't feel like you're at the dentist, that it's painful to listen to or watch. So people such as Dr. Logan then become an important piece of the show. Over the weekend, I'm writing a press release for the 12-year anniversary of Let's Talk Nutrition, and I was looking to see, I was curious. We're in nearly 60 markets or more across the U.S. The thought occurred to me, I wonder who is the most syndicated show. I know Dr. Ronald Hoffman's been around for 25 years. He's probably one of the longest running health talk shows. I like Dr. Hoffman. But the most syndicated. And I was reading all kinds of claims by these talk show hosts and people. 3 million viewers, 2 million viewers, just off the chain numbers. I said, how do you calculate that? There's no way how do you, that's very difficult to calculate. It's not about how many, it's about how you do it. Right? And the audience is entrusting you with a lot. I mean, they're attributing a lot of trust, and that takes time. You build a relationship with the viewer, every listener, every affiliate, and everybody in the building, for that matter. Here. That takes time. And you have to build up credibility and trust. So it is, I'm sharing this with you to give you a sense, if you're new to the show, what's going on around here. And so you catch on, you'll see how I do it. Weaving in the science. What are the data? Show me the data. But at the same time, trying not to take, you can't take yourself too seriously here. Meaning me. And you just have, you're the messenger and you're trying to guide and steer. And you got to remember, my family listens to the show. My friends listen to this show. I'm not going to say things on here that are going to get them sick or get them into trouble. But, we love doing it. We love that you're there. And we love that when you call the show, that's been picking up lately. And we're grateful. Keep it up. Because dialogue is far more interesting than monologue any day of the week. You know how tedious it is there to sit there and listen to somebody give a speech? My God. I listen to thousands of them as a communication professor. I'm done listening. I don't even want to hear myself give one. Give us a call.
You can reach us at 877-897-8255. That's 877-897-8255. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Let's Talk Nutrition. That's one word.
So we're arranging, I'll be appearing on other talk shows here in the Tampa Bay area as a guest, and we're setting that all up. And I sent this one show a set of topics. And one topic that I sent was get fat on weight loss diets. And that's what happens.
Hey, which caught my eye too.
Get fat on weight loss diets. And the data are very strong with that. And this is summertime. And of course, people are trying to get into these bathing suits and wedding dresses and tuxedos. Summer gear for the picnic and the this and that, they got far more content than they have for the container. Things are spilling over. Can't zip it, can't button it, right? Mary, I got to lose this weight for that wedding. I can't get into this, What am I going to do? I look like the Queen Mary. I got to lose this weight for the wedding. I'm not going to Paris looking like this. I'm not going to that company picnic, right? And so now people become one of my own physicians. I kid you not, this is the truth. I walked into his office several weeks ago, and we were talking. He's my ear, nose, and throat surgeon, and he said. Out of the clear blue, it was like he was confessing to me, like I was his nutritional priest or something. And he said to me, "You're really going to be mad at me, Dr. Garg?" I said, "Why?" He said, "I'm going on a diet." I said, "Oh, well, what are you doing?" And then he mentions the South Beach diet, Dr. What's his face. I said, "You're doing what?" I said, "You're going to become ketotic." He said, "Well, I got to lose this weight right away because I got this event." I said, "Please, don't do it." I said, "There's another way." He went ahead and did it. Several weeks go by, a month or so, 6 weeks. I just saw him recently. He had lost some weight. In the interim, I saw him, then more time passed. And then I recently saw him again. Guess what? He was bigger now than when he started to lose the weight. That's why I say get fat on a weight loss diet. The doctors don't even know.
I'm Joy McCarthy, holistic nutritionist, and I expect more from my multivitamin. I've researched many vitamins, and what's truly different about Every Woman's One Daily from New Chapter is that it's fermented with probiotics and whole foods and gentle even on an empty stomach. Every Woman's One Daily helps you feel good every day, giving you immune, energy, and stress support, and nutrients for bone and heart health. You will notice a difference. Every Woman's One Daily recently won the Best Multivitamin Award, and I love that it's non-GMO project verified. Discover the wisdom of nature with New Chapter.
Whether you spend your free time on a treadmill, under a car, or in your garden, if your active lifestyle leaves you sore, Body Vigor's Inflammaforce may be exactly what you need. Inflammaforce has a natural herb blend that acts as an anti-inflammatory to help maintain healthy joint and mobility support. There are standardized herbs like white willow, boswellia, turmeric, ginger, and devil's claw. The vegetarian capsule promotes easy digestion and a fast-acting dissolve process. Inflammaforce includes a proprietary enzyme herbal blend full of antioxidants and flavonoids that target pain and inflammation throughout the body. Body Vigor's Inflammaforce contains ingredients that support normal, healthy joint flexibility and function, builds healthy tissue, and helps with your recovery process. So if you're tired of sore joints and inflamed muscles, Body Vigor's Inflammaforce is your answer. Purchase Inflammaforce exclusively on Amazon.com.
Get fat on a weight loss diet, guaranteed. Welcome back to Let's Talk Nutrition. Yeah, my daughter is going to a bar mitzvah. That's what he was getting ready to go to somebody's bar mitzvah. He wanted to lose the weight, so he went on Atkins diet. I told him not to do it. I said, don't do it. Sure enough, he lost some weight, got into the suit or tuxedo, whatever, and then I saw him the other day. I had my appointment, and he had gained it all back and then some. Please don't do that.
You see a lot of people doing that, though.
It happens all the time, Gary.
I have a friend in the police department, and she went through that during, like, my third year on. She joined the National Guard, lost a whole bunch of weight. I mean, crazy. Lost weight. Had to get new uniforms. Had to get a new vest. And then about 3 years later, put it back on.
Yeah, read my articles. I talk about this on this phenomenon. And it's biology. And I won't get into it today because that's not where I want to go. But it's there. Visit letstalknutrition.com. We're going to change that heading. They have it under multimedia. That doesn't make any sense. It needs to be just having a link that says articles or something. We'll fix it. Don't you worry. But it's artificial sweeteners related to this theme. I saw somebody in Starbucks the other day. I saw them open one packet, poured it in, pulled out another packet, opened it, poured it in. It was a venti cup, this size cup, right? Put 4 artificial sweetener packets in a 20-ounce cup of coffee. I'm thinking, did you go through radiation and all your taste buds have been destroyed? I could understand that. I've been through radiation. I get that. 4 packets. 4.
In a venti.
In a venti cup. That thing had to be so sweet it would hurt your teeth. Wow. Is it your friend or your foe? Why was he doing that? He was a little chunky, a little porky. He was worried about his weight. Well, I didn't say anything because you don't, none of your business. I just observe. Researchers from the University of Manitoba, George, and Fayette Center for Health Care Innovation in Canada found that non-nutritive, emphasize non-nutritive, they have no nutritional value. Non-nutritive sweeteners could be linked to the risk of weight gain. Oh my God, shock face. And a greater risk for obesity, high blood pressure, diabetes, and heart disease. So there you go. That's the ticket. Use artificial sweeteners. Please. Go get one of those natural sweeteners, a stevia or something. Obesity, of course, I don't need to tell you, you know a lot about obesity. I've talked about till we're blue in the face. There's emerging evidence, they say in the article. I'll quote them. Gary has it up on the screen. That artificial sweeteners may have an adverse effect on metabolism, gut bacteria, and appetite. They continue. What is more, studies suggest that chronic exposure to artificial sweeteners may result in increased food consumption and weight gain. You know why? You want to know why? Because the body, you cannot trick or bargain with biology. You think for 1 second that the cells in your body, that your biology doesn't know that that's not real sugar? We've been evolving for millions of years, man. You're now going to trick the body. Those artificial sweeteners don't satisfy the craving, or as we say, the sweet tooth. You feel like it does because it tastes sweet, but the body's saying, I need energy. This is not energy. What did I say? It's non-nutritive. There are no calories in it. According to the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, artificial sweeteners can be used to manage weight or blood sugar. By how? The mechanism of action is you decrease the energy intake. However, the big conjunctive adverb, however, artificial sweetener consumption has been correlated with weight gain and obesity. So let me scratch my head and think about that for a second. Wait a minute. I just said it's non-nutritive, has no calories. Hence, you have less energy. Food equals calories, calories equal energy. But wait a minute. If it doesn't have any calories, no energy, how am I gaining weight? How am I getting high blood pressure, diabetes? Because you're screwing up your whole metabolic system with that crap. That's what it is. How do you like that for a fancy research term? My professors would throw stones at me for talking like that. Dr. Ryan Zarachansky and Dr. Megan Azad, these are professors of the Randy Faculty of Health Science at the University of Manitoba, try to determine whether regular artificial sweetener consumption is associated with adverse long-term effects on weight and heart disease. Answer? Yes. Yes. The answer is yes. They looked, it was a meta-analysis of 37 studies, 400,000 people involved in the study for 10 years. And 7 of the studies were randomized controlled trials. Artificial sweeteners are linked to weight gain. And those become one of the key strategies in these weight loss diets. Reduce the calories, reduce the energy, get artificial stuff. Then you start to look that way too, artificial.
Feel better fast in every...
Looking for the perfect complement to your beauty regimen? Try Form Essentials Zinnia. The finest of its kind, Zinnia offers twice as much biotin as other formulas, which has proven to unlock the vibrancy in even the dullest of hair, skin, and nails. Zinnia breaks through and rejuvenates cells internally, helping you achieve the allure of effortless beauty. Reviving your hair, skin, and nails has never been easier. This essential blend of biotin, alpha-lipoic, and hyaluronic acid, collagen, and vitamin C creates lasting enhancements to your natural good looks. Don't go on wondering, you're worth the results. This combination of ingredients can only be found in Zinnia. Pamper yourself with a proven bit of affordable luxury and start looking your best. Ask for Zinnia by name at your nearest vitamin retailer to begin your journey to restored nails, head-turning hair, and radiant skin today. For more information, visit formessentials.com.
When your alarm goes off, do you jump out of bed with excitement? Or does it take multiple alarms, a few snooze buttons, or a morning caffeine fix to get you going? These habits and daily stress cause a vicious cycle in which sleep becomes increasingly elusive. In fact, 54% of Americans report struggles to fall or stay asleep. For a better night's rest, look no further than Solace, an all-natural dietary supplement that supports healthy sleep and relaxation, so you get the rest you need to wake up clear-eyed, alert, and ready for the day. Solace has given thousands a better night's rest and the power to take back their mornings while enjoying the day ahead of them. Solace is formulated with non-addictive, scientifically proven, all-natural ingredients that support sleep and relaxation, such as melatonin, tryptophan, and 5-HTP. For more information or to order Solace, visit takesolace.com. Solace, for healthy sleep naturally.
gain weight? You want to get fat? Go on a weight loss diet. Welcome. Welcome back to Let's Talk Nutrition. Yes, we're irreverent about this. I don't care.
You know, somebody just swerved their car off the road with you saying that, right?
And I'm probably causing a lot of cognitive dissonance for a lot of people right now, because this is the time of year. There are more people on a weight loss diet than I have sense right now. It's summertime. Picnics, vacations, weddings, bar mitzvahs, whatever, who knows what and all. And people are trying to lose weight. Vacation, go on a vacation. So you look nice. You want to get in that nice summer dress. When you're in Paris and you're under the Eiffel Tower and the pigeons are flying around, somebody just snaps a nice picture. You don't want to look as wide as the Eiffel Tower, right? That's what people are doing right now, and they unfortunately fall into the trap of these weight loss diets that will cause you to lose weight, but you're going to gain it back. The odds, I will bet on that every time. You'll gain the weight back, and not only that, and then some. It's biology, man. It's biology. And then I came across, my guess is Dr. Alan Logan. I'm being wrong in 2 minutes. I'm getting him to comment on this. He'll have a thing, believe you me, he'll have a thing or two to say about this. Watch. Then a related article coming over to Transom this morning, what causes food cravings? I won't get into the details of that. Then I said, well, what do they propose as to how to quell food cravings? They said reduce stress levels. That's true. Drink plenty of water. You need to drink plenty of water anyway, but someone who has a heavy food addiction, that's like giving a Coke to somebody who's got alcoholism. Please, stop it. Don't tell people just drink a lot of water and that food craving's going to go away. You need to hydrate. Get enough sleep. That's true. That'll help. And I'm going, chew gum. Really? Chew gum. Okay, go ahead. Change the scenery, they said. Avoid hunger. Eat a lot of protein. I keep looking. I'm going through the list. Tell them not to eat chocolate, candy, soda. That's what got them into trouble in the first place. It's like saying to the heroin addict, avoid the presence of heroin. Don't keep it in the house. That's going to help your heroin addiction. You know what was missing from the list? How about a whole food plant-based diet? How about that? How about starchy vegetables? How about that approach? How about that? Not on the list. Some of the variables they identified are valid. Sleep deprivation, high stress, they can contribute to the food addiction and food cravings. That's true. But it's a vicious cycle. You can't eat and you're under a lot of stress, and it increases the food addiction more, and you eat the more junk food and it interrupts the sleep, and then you have those side effects. It's crazy. And that's why people get into, use your common sense. If any of this stuff worked, do you think I'd still be talking about it? Dr. Alan Logan's my guest. He's an educator for Genuine Health, and he's a consultant. He has no financial interest in the company. He doesn't get a kickback on the products. He's a consultant for them. And they hired him because, he helps them understand what's going on scientifically. He makes sense. And, he's just rational and credible. Dr. Logan, welcome to the show.
Thanks very much, Dr. Darko. It's great to hear your voice.
Nice to hear your voice, too. Now, your mom would be, your mom heard that introduction. My son's rational and credible. That's good.
He might have wrote a book or two.
Yeah, you never know. He might write a book or two in his life about the microbiome. Then you have somebody write a review for the book. You never know how things work out. How's that book doing, by the way?
It'll be out next month. So hopefully, with your endorsement, it's a guaranteed New York Times bestseller. We're halfway there.
We're halfway there. Boy, if that's all it took. Yeah. Where are you today? You in Manhattan?
Not at all. I'm down in Western Australia. We're heading back next week, so this is probably why the first time I called in, the line was shaky. I didn't get that. We got a pretty good line, at least on my end. It sounds crystal clear.
Yeah. How are things in Western Australia, wherever?
Yeah, good. Just been, doing some speaking, some researching, and just putting the finishing touches on the book. Coming off the press in about 2 weeks' time.
Oh, congratulations! Am I going to get an autographed copy from you and Dr. Prescott? You and Dr. Prescott?
Absolutely.
Yeah. How's she doing?
That's right. She's doing great.
The last time you were on, we were trying to get her on, and I didn't realize you were only on is he on the second hour too?
I think he's only on for an hour.
You only on the first hour, Dr. Logan? Do we have a guest?
I'm here for whenever you guys.
Do we have the second hour open?
I believe so.
Check it.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
If we have that second hour open, is she around or is she chasing kangaroos around the lot?
Yeah, she's wrangling a shark at the moment, so.
Her and Michael Phelps.
That's right. But if you want to get a handle on sort of what Susan's about, people can go over to her Twitter feed. It's Susan Prescott 88 on Twitter.
What is it?
To find. In fact, you just put it's Susan Prescott 88, and she just put up an amazing, quite the artist, Dr. Garko. She just now tweeted out a little while ago an image of the vagus nerve, which connects gut to brain in a very artistic way, and I just love it. I just can't believe how beautiful it is, and because it really is descriptive of what we talk about and what we will talk about.
Well, explain the vagus nerve a little bit.
Sure. It's the superhighway that connects a lot of your organs in the abdominal cavity. It connects your heart, kidneys. But pertinent to this conversation, it connects the gut to the brain. And for a long time, researchers thought that communication was just from the brain downwards. But around the year 2000, researchers to figure out that microbes, even tiny amounts, the kind that wouldn't even really cause a major immune response throughout the body. Like if you went to a picnic and took food poisoning like bacteria, like Campylobacter jejuni, it actually was causing a direct communication upwards to the brain from the gut, right into the limbic system, which is the emotional centers of the brain. And these animals were starting to get anxious just from those minute amounts of this Campylobacter jejuni. And it begged the question, well, if the food poisoning bacteria in tiny amounts, again, not even enough to make you physically sick, was causing anxiety in the animals, why couldn't other microbes do the same thing?
All right. We're going to explore that. Vagus, V-A-G-U-S, nerve, not in Las Vegas.
Whether you spend your free time on a treadmill, under a car, or in your garden, if your active lifestyle leaves you sore, Body Vigor's Inflammaforce may be exactly what you need. Inflammaforce has a natural herb blend that acts as an anti-inflammatory to help maintain healthy joint and mobility support. There are standardized herbs like white willow, boswellia, turmeric, ginger, and devil's claw. The vegetarian capsule promotes easy digestion and a fast-acting dissolve process. Inflammaforce includes a proprietary enzyme herbal blend full of antioxidants and flavonoids that target pain and inflammation throughout the body. Body Vigor's Inflammaforce contains ingredients that support normal, healthy joint flexibility and function, builds healthy tissue, and helps with your recovery process. So if you're tired of sore joints and inflamed muscles, Body Vigor's Inflammaforce is your answer. Purchase Inflammaforce exclusively on Amazon.com.
Dr. Alan Logan's my guest today. He's in Australia today. And Dr. Alan Logan is a naturopathic doctor. He's not a clinician. He's a researcher. He felt the same. I didn't want to be a clinician myself either. That's why I didn't go to med school and got a PhD. But he's a researcher and investigator, medical researcher, writer, commentator, formulator, exterminator. No. Dr. Logan, welcome back. Well, exterminator of a sort. You're trying to kill those bad bacteria in the gut, man.
Well, we're trying to get rid of the bad guys, and we're trying to undo the nonsense that's out there in that article that you were referring to just before we went on air together concerning how to deal with food cravings, honestly.
Go drink some water, Dr. Logan. That'll fix it. Just drink water.
It's really amazing.
The vagus nerve.
Ever calls out.
That vagus. Go ahead. Finish. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
No. I was just going to say that nobody calls out the drivers of what pushes so many people towards, ultra-processed foods. All the signage, all the marketing. There's people waking up every morning, throwing the covers off, and going to work to see how can they engineer food, how can they manipulate the end caps in the supermarket shelves to get people to eat more garbage.
I know. It is a multi-billion-dollar effort, and scientists are involved. Some of the food companies have more PhDs running around the building than they do staff to support them. It's just astonishing. And they're figuring out the bliss point, how much sugar, exactly how much. Oh, and by the way, how much salt and which kind of salt. You thought there was only one kind of. No, there's not. There's several kinds of salt. And then fat and how to you get these salt, sugar, and fat. Read Michael Moss's book. I would recommend it to anybody listening or watching. And Dr. Logan, you're so right. It is. Oh God, I get so frustrated because you and I see it. It's this giant freight train of misdirection and underhandedness, and people are falling for it. That food smells good, looks good, tastes good, and it's cheap.
I got a question.
It's a rigged system. It's a rigged system.
It's a rigged system.
Dr. Logan, when you go shopping, do you take a list with you?
Sometimes I do, yeah, because I don't always remember the fact. I tend to shop in smaller amounts. And,
as you've gotten older, the list gets longer on the piece of paper, right?
Like somebody like me that's trying to lose weight, that's really, really trying to lose weight, I try not to go shopping without a list, and I make sure I take a list and just stick to that list.
And don't go shopping when you're hungry.
Yes.
Do not do that. Don't dare walk in there. That bag of chips is far more tempting when you're hungry than not.
Yeah, it's true. That's very true.
I'm going to go back to the vagus nerve, spelled vagus.
That's right.
The vagus nerve. Sometimes it's called the pneumogastric nerve. Did I remember that right? The pneumogastric or something gastric, pneumogastric nerve, and it's the 10th cranial nerve. And it interfaces with the parasympathetic control of the heart, lungs, and digestive tract. That's an important point because that parasympathetic nervous system, as opposed to the autonomic nervous system, it's you got the sympathetic, parasympathetic, and the enteric. That parasympathetic is the stimulation for rest and digest, feed, or breed, as it's sometimes called. So it's hooked up. It's hooked up with that system. Explain why that's important.
Well, now you're getting into emotions. You're getting into stress. Discussions of, and when you are in, as you said, a parasympathetic dominant state, rest and digest, you're going to maximize your absorption. There's also the notion that it's a two-way street. And that, again, as I was saying just before the break, that microbes are actually doing direct communication. There's a lot of ways in which microbes can influence and pull the strings on the neurons in the brain.
Mm-hmm.
But this one is like a superhighway. It's literally communicating straight up the track. And we're finding out in one of the animal studies, using probiotics to mend behavioral changes that indicate anxiety or depression, the researchers, if they cut the vagus nerve, the probiotic didn't work to amend the depressive or anxious behavior.
See, that was the question I was going to ask you. What happens when the vagus nerve gets injured or destroyed, somehow harmed or malfunctions? What happens?
Well, it can be devastating because it interacts with so many different organs. It's really just such a colossal highway. But in this case, they were proving it through. It didn't always. There were cases where the probiotics did still work, so there are other pathways too. It's not the only one. But for certain strains of probiotic bacterium, they were mediating their benefits directly via the vagus nerve. So it's really a tremendous finding. Again, only an animal study, don't overstate it, but it's adding to the others that were out there.
So how would a whole food, plant-based diet that may even have elements of fermentation in it be beneficial for this super highway or food cravings and whatnot? How would that get implicated in all of this?
Well, let's just focus on the food cravings for a moment, because I think it's a really good one. A study just came out. It's a University of Toronto study that included that whole food, plant-based diet, and it also added a probiotic to one group or a placebo. And the food cravings were lower in the folks that had the whole food diet plus the probiotic compared to the placebo group. And that was just published several weeks ago. So this is the kind of, and I can flip that over to you actually on the break.
Yeah, please do. I was going to go find it, but if you can send it to me, I'd love to see that. So the whole food plant-based diet in combination with a probiotic worked better to quell the food cravings than the other group, which was what? Just a whole food plant-based diet?
It was the same whole food diet intervention, healthy advice to live a healthy lifestyle, plus a placebo, right? So they didn't have the actual living probiotic on top of the diet plan.
Okay.
And again, you're starting to get somewhere now. There's other studies that have indicated that gut microbes may be more influential than we may think in terms of food cravings.
Right.
Theories.
And we're heading into a break. And in the same sentence, you want to have whole food plant-based diet with the probiotics. If they happen in the same sentence, that's a good thing. And we're going to come back and explore this. Again, the evidence is compelling. Plants, a whole food plant-based diet. Now, you want no meat, no dairy, no oil. That's even better yet, but that's tough. Welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition. Thanks for stopping by today. Dr. Alan Logan is my guest. Dr. Logan is a consultant for Genuine Health. Going to talk about whole foods, fermented kind, you know. And they're a company that makes fermented foods. Protein products and whatnot that are fermented. This is important. Now I'm going to put a little different twist on this theme. There are certain foods that are considered wholesome. One of them is described often as the perfect food. The other has been described in various ways that it is so fundamental. The message is so fundamental to health, you can't get along without it. The first one, eggs. The second one, milk. Now, let me make the argument and just put it out there before you make a judgment, and try to keep your mind open. Now, I've eaten my share of eggs, and I've drank and I've consumed my share of milk in my life, as you have. And I'm not throwing them under the bus per se, but I'm just saying to you, make no mistake that the marketing and lobbying effort to promote eggs and milk is formidable. If you don't have to believe me, you can do the research yourself and you can find out. Now, there are worse things to eat. I do not subscribe to the view that eggs are the perfect food. I just don't. Now, Dr. Michael Greger wrote an article in which he explored the notion of how gut bacteria will use eggs to do what? Accelerate cancer. Let me explain. Dr. Greger says we are walking communities comprised not only of a Homo sapiens host, but also of trillions of symbiotic commensal microorganisms within the gut and on every surface of our bodies. End quote. Dr. Logan would certainly agree to that. There are more bacterial cells in our gut than there are human cells in the entire body. In fact, about approximately 10% of DNA in our body is human. The rest are found in the microbiome. Dr. Logan will tell you that. The microbes that we share with this walking community we call our body, right? And then Dr. Logan will tell you all the things that these microbiota do. Now, Dr. Greger points out that our metabolism and absorption of food occurs through this filter of bacteria, this microbiome. But Dr. Greger argues that if you eat a lot of meat, poultry, fish, milk, cheese, eggs, what do? You foster the growth of bacteria that will convert the choline and the carnitine in those foods into what's called TMA, trimethylamine, which is oxidized into TMAO. And why is that bad? Because it wreaks havoc on the arteries, increases the risk for heart attack, stroke, and death. I'm not making this up. What I just said can be verified empirically, scientifically. You got that transformation of the choline and the carnitine into TMA, and then oxidized into TMAO. This transformation from choline into trimethylamine, we've known about that for about 4 decades. This isn't breaking news. But nobody's talking about it in all that marketing stuff about the perfect food. eat the eggs, drink the milk, blah, blah. Yeah. You think it came from God Almighty. It came from chickens and cows. And that it's not sacrosanct and shouldn't be attacked. That's nonsense. We have to keep our critical mind open. Now, choline is found in the diet. It's found mostly in meat, eggs, dairy, and refined grains. But you're thinking choline is supposed to be a good thing. It is. But too much of any good thing is not a good idea. So it's interesting that the microbiota now and they'll work on those eggs and dairy and meat. They'll work on it, and you get that conversion, and then without getting it's a little complicated, but the TMAO made from the choline in meat and eggs that promotes cancer growth. Now, that's and there were dozens of studies published confirming that eggs could play a role in the development of colon cancer. That's not just an opinion. Though no relationship was discovered between egg consumption and the development of precancerous polyps, Dr. Greger points out, which suggests that eggs might be involved in the promotional stage of cancer growth, accelerating cancer growth rather than initiating cancer in the first place. You see how it's implicated. And if you stay open-minded and you go and you start to do the research and look at the studies where this overconsumption of these so-called wholesome foods may not be as a good idea, and those foods may not be as wholesome as you think. I'm just saying. Now it took me, I had to nudge myself into doing that because I'm thinking like you, come on, I was thinking, what could be wrong with eggs? I mean, after all, eggs? Really? No, can't be anything wrong there. Milk? That big campaign, Got Milk, and every athlete, movie star, poker champion player had a mustache on the billboards. You saw him drink Got Milk. You don't think that those campaigns have a persuasive behavioral change effect? They do. But you can't, when you're a researcher, you cannot follow that temptation. And I really had to push myself into coming out and saying, maybe not so much. Dr. Logan, welcome back to the show. I have no clue where you come down on this. You may be 100% on the other. You may be in Australia on this point compared to where I'm at. Well, you are physically in Australia today. Welcome to the show. I'm interested in your thoughts on what I just said.
Just 1 second, Dr. Clark. I've got the dairy board on the other line.
Oh, you traitor.
I'm only teasing you, obviously. No, you know what? It's a really, really important thing that you bring up. And these studies, there have been a few. It's not just from that one researcher. Several groups looking at this. They're taking it very seriously. And what may be happening here, it's what you said right in the beginning, in the first hour of the show. And it's actually the absence of deeply colorful fruits and vegetables and whole plant foods. So it may be less that the dairy and the eggs and the meat are the culprits so much as it's our North American absence of colorful fruits and vegetables that we at play. And there's another thing too about it.
We'll find out what that other thing is too. And it starts with the letter F.
If you've ever had Almost 52% of men experience erectile dysfunction and benign prostatic hyperplasia. If you've had challenges with virility, sexual health, or low energy, Body Vigor's Alpha Extension may be the answer for you. Body Vigor's Alpha Extension can help revitalize your alpha male and extend your love. Our formula is one of the highest quality nutraceuticals available, formulated to support the processes involved in promoting a healthy male sex drive, energy, and stamina. Alpha Extension has 2 powerful herbal blends, Virilo Max, which focuses on male sexual health, and T-Pump Activator, which helps balance your testosterone levels. Revitalize your alpha male with Body Vigor's Alpha Extension. Exclusively available on Amazon.com.
Sometimes you have to take a risk, and I could come on and play it safe and tell you, don't worry about the eggs, don't worry about the milk, don't worry about the cheese, don't worry about dairy generally. Go ahead and eat all the red meat you want. No worries, have fun, enjoy. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night Because you can lie by commission and you can lie by omission. And you have to tell the truth as you know it. I've always believed that, and I'm going to do that. And I think the consumption of some of these so-called healthy foods is maybe not a good idea. And with people such as Dr. Logan, who are focusing on these gut microbiome and this microbiome revolution in his new book, I highly recommend it. You start to understand now, we're starting to get a better picture of how these bacteria are implicated in good health and can be implicated in bad health. Dr. Logan, welcome back. Go ahead and finish your thought from where we were as we headed into messages.
Yeah, so we were just discussing the context of sort of the eggs, the fish, the meat, the dairy, and the potential that it's making this TMAO chemical, which is linked to inflammation, it's linked to cardiovascular disease, it's been linked to cancer in experimental studies. And what researchers theorize is there could be two things. It could be direct, but it may be also because we're not taking enough fruits and vegetables in the context of that, which I happen to subscribe to that particular thought. But there's one more wrinkle to this story, and that is that it might actually be the disease itself, because there's a two-way street between the immune system and microbes. So if you have cardiovascular disease already en route, you may not have, a fully diagnosable cardiovascular disease, but if you're halfway there, you can actually impact your gut microbiome because of the way the immune system responds. So on the one hand, the gut microbes influence the immune system and promote inflammation, but it's also worse in the other direction. So some researchers think that this link may also be a product of actually being diseased. So it's a complicated story. And I love the fact that you're bringing this up. I think it's really, really important.
It's hard to, Dr. Logan, it's hard to talk about. Let me just share this with you. I consider you a good friend. You're a good guy.
Yes, and me as well, to you.
Let me just tell you what the truth here is. You know why it's so hard to talk about this? Because this is sort of like attacking the 10 Commandments.
Yeah.
You got the 10 Commandments of nutrition, right? Eggs. I can go down the list. And when you start to mention that maybe some of these foods can be dangerous in a certain way under certain conditions, people get upset because you're causing a lot of cognitive dissonance. And I'm taking a risk in doing this. Because some people will get upset with me and say, he's nuts. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And I don't mean to implicate you, and you don't need to get on this canoe with me because the rapids are rough. And I'm just telling you that I get a lot of pushback on this. And people say you're just biased and you're against all these foods. No, I'm not against them. I'm trying to be open-minded. So I don't mean to implicate you in this narrative. If you feel uncomfortable, you can step aside, And
No. You and I are on the same page, and I'm pretty familiar. Not an expert in it, but I'm pretty familiar with this research you're referring to, and I think it's really, really important. And researchers are taking it very seriously. One of the amazing things about the microbiome, Dr. Garko, is it's thrown everything on its head. Everything. It's almost like every aspect of science and medicine has got to sit up straight. Pesticide residues, phthalates in foods, artificial sweeteners that they sold on us.
I just talked about the artificial sweeteners.
All of these things are causing dysbiosis. They are showing them now low-dose antibiotics, far lower than we would use clinically. All the things that are getting into our food supply that they told us don't worry about it, right, are now turning out to be not so much good for the microbiome, and it's affecting metabolism in a variety of ways. So here's another example of where these things that, as you said, were etched in stone. Don't even dare question this, or you'll be thrown out as an outcast, as a leper, right?
It's true.
Microbiome science is changing everything right now throughout medicine. And finally, it's so wonderful because actually it has to be taken seriously. And it's made people change their minds. Scientists who were producing dogma are changing their minds.
Let me share this with you. It's not a science. It's not a clinical trial. It's not science. For years, I made my profession was to use my hand as a musician, and a lot of damage to my joints, and I was having all kinds of issues with my hands, swollen, stiff. The joints were being destroyed in front of my own eyes. I was trying everything I could to stop it. Ironically, when I got cancer, I changed my diet completely. No meat at all. No, I got off dairy 100%. Do you know the inflammation in my hands is virtually gone? Virtually gone. But the little finger on my left hand used to get so swollen. And then my ring finger on my left hand, if I would ever decide to get married, I wouldn't be able to wear a ring. And my hands have improved near almost 100%. The swelling in my little finger on my left hand looks like everybody else's now. That doesn't have. And the only thing I changed, Dr. Logan, was my diet. I went to a whole food plant-based diet. That's all I'm saying. Again, it's anecdotal. It's not a clinical trial, but I wanted to share. Dr. Logan's going to tell you about genuine health and fermented foods.
Looking for the perfect complement to your beauty regimen? Try Form Essentials Zinnia. The finest of its kind, Zinnia offers twice as much biotin as other formulas, which has proven to unlock the vibrancy in even the dullest of hair, skin, and nails. Zinnia breaks through and rejuvenates cells internally, helping you achieve the allure of effortless beauty. Reviving your hair, skin, and nails has never been easier. This essential blend of biotin, alpha-lipoic, and hyaluronic acid, collagen, and vitamin C creates lasting enhancements to your natural good looks. Don't go on wondering. You're worth the results. This combination of ingredients can only be found in Zinnia. Pamper yourself with a proven bit of affordable luxury and start looking your best. Ask for Zinnia by name at your nearest vitamin retailer to begin your journey to restored nails, head-turning hair, and radiant skin today. For more information, visit formessentials.com.
When your alarm goes off, do you jump out of bed with excitement? Or does it take multiple alarms, a few snooze buttons, or a morning caffeine fix to get you going? These habits and daily stress cause a vicious cycle in which sleep becomes increasingly elusive. In fact, 54% of Americans report struggles to fall or stay asleep. For a better night's rest, look no further than Solace, an all-natural dietary supplement that supports healthy sleep and relaxation, so you get the rest you need to wake up clear-eyed, alert, and ready for the day. Solace has given thousands a better night's rest and the power to take back their mornings while enjoying the day ahead of them. Solace is formulated with non-addictive, scientifically proven, all-natural ingredients that support sleep and relaxation, such as melatonin, tryptophan, and 5-HTP. For more information or to order Solace, visit takesolace.com. Solace, for healthy sleep naturally.
Did you know that 7 in 10 people have digestive issues? It's no wonder, really. When you take a closer look at what's inside, you'll see that our intestinal environment is similar to a lush garden, a flourishing biodiversity comprised of healthy gut flora. Flora that we depend upon for our health and well-being. Stress, over-sanitization, over-processed foods, and the overuse of antibiotics have clear-cut our guts, leaving our tummies feeling, well, not great. You see, what we have done by killing off the gut flora is damage the soil of our inner gardens. With damaged soil, nothing can really grow or flourish, and disease starts to set in. But we will let you in on a little secret. Fermentation makes all the difference. You know that bloated feeling you can get when taking a vegan protein? Oh, come on. We know you know. Almost all of us get it. That feeling comes from a natural protective casing that surrounds grains and legumes. Because this casing acts as a natural defense mechanism to prevent the grain or legume from being digested, the result is gas and bloating as it passes through our digestive tract. This is where the magic of fermentation comes in. Only fermentation breaks down this casing, freeing the nutrients for absorption by your body. Not only that, but it amplifies the existing nutrients. This means you are getting all the available nutrients from your protein. But there's more. Remember our garden that we clear cut? Well, fermentation, when done right, actually restores that biodiversity of flora. Fermentation naturally replenishes the soil in our garden. Can your protein powder do all that? Well, ours can. Fermented Vegan Proteins Plus by Genuine Health. 7 plant-based sources for a complete amino acid profile. No bloating, maximizes protein and nutrient absorption, and strengthens your gut health. Gluten-free, soy-free, dairy-free, non-GMO, and 100% vegan. Try some today. Your gut will thank you. Genuine Health is possible.
Well, Dr. Alan Logan's my guest today, and Dr. Logan's talking about our microbiome, and there's the Microbiome Revolution. This new book will be out next week or so, and it's a must-read. It will give you a keen insight in a very creative and entertaining way and scientific way about the gut, this microbiome revolution and your gut microbiome and how it's implicated in your health. And Dr. Logan earlier was talking about that new study that's out, and it's how it's implicated in how the gut microbiome is connected to obesity. Really interesting how this is all, things that are revealing themselves as we start to pull back the obscurity on this microbiome. Dr. Logan, welcome back. So Genuine Health makes fermented foods, these fermented food products. How does that get implicated then with the microbiome and with these products?
Well, there's a couple of things at play here, and I really appreciate in the introduction, in case someone's just joining us, that you did mention that I don't make any money off these products, and I'm an independent consultant, so I really appreciate you for full disclosure mentioning that. With regard to the flagship products they have, which would be the fermented protein, you're using microbes to your advantage. With plant-based protein formulas, quite often they have anti-nutrients within them. Think about what it would be like to have a bowl of raw beans without soaking them and dealing with them in the ways that human beings have done for many, many years. And fermentation turns out to be one of the most powerful ways, sprouting is another, to minimize the tough, fibrous material that sits around the protein source. So you use the microbes to knock back that tough fiber. They go to work on it so that you don't get bloating and discomfort in your stomach. And equally important, the bioavailability is far and away higher. For example, there's research showing that what's called the protein efficiency ratio, which is the ability of a protein source to allow a living creature to grow and thrive, a mammal, is about 40% higher with fermentation of plant proteins. So it really can make a big difference.
And so the protein products from Genuine Health are fermented then?
Yes, you have there's fermented proteins available. It's called Fermented Vegan Proteins Plus. They also have fermented blend of different plant foods. So there's fermented kale and olives and cocoa and sort of a superfood formula that they have, which is called Fermented Whole Body Nutrition Formula. And then they also have probiotics as well. So they have a fair, decent, gut-oriented blend of different products that are readily available.
Yeah, fermented proteins, fermented vegan proteins, fermented Greek yogurt proteins, fermented whole body nutrition with greens plus, fermented vegan protein plus bars, fermented Greek yogurt protein plus bars, and then you have Advanced Gut Health.
They have a probiotic line as well.
Yeah, I see that, the probiotic line. They have a pain relief line too, right?
Yes, they do. That's based on the eggshell membrane, which you may have discussed before, but it's the inner lining. If you crack open a raw egg and you see that shiny lining that clings to the inner part of the shell that would normally be discarded, it turns out that and if you think about it, that's what it is. It's the cushioning material between the albumin and the shell, much like our own joint. It has glucosamine, chondroitin, and other anti-inflammatory components that make that work quite effectively. So there's good emerging research on eggshell membrane for joint care. That's the primary foundation of those formulas. But it's an interesting, there's some interesting new research that's actually shown that the eggshell membrane has a benefit to gut microbes too. And its anti-inflammatory properties may be mediated by the gut microbiome. So it's almost like you can't escape this conversation. Once you start pulling the string a little bit, you realize how much of the sweater that one string, right, or strand of wool is connected to. So their joint care formulas, in many ways, are also a gut microbiome story as well.
And in case somebody's wondering, say, well, wait a minute, Dr. Garko was just talking about how the gut bacteria can work on the consumption of eggs, and making that transition from choline and carnitine into TAMO, ultimately into TAMO, that gets, which is an oxidized form. That's true, but that element of there are different elements of the egg, so. It's not all bad news there with eggs too. They have.
Yeah, you're referring to the yolk. The choline is inside the yolk.
It's in the yolk, and where all the cholesterol is, and so on, the fat, and so on and so on. So there are different parts that can be used with the gut microbiome in beneficial ways. It's never black and white, or just one single highway with two lanes. It's or just one lane. It's always more complicated.
That's so true, and that is especially true with nutritional sciences as well.
This is interesting. So they have the fermented proteins. Is that whey protein there? Not the vegan. They have the vegan, and then is it the other one whey?
They have a fermented Greek yogurt protein as well, which is so that would be more of a casein-based protein, because that's really what you're getting in a yogurt. The whey's been removed. I
see.
And it's essentially a Greek yogurt protein, yeah. And again, in that case, we mentioned the 40% with plant-based proteins. The fermentation of the dairy in this case would lead to about a 25% increase in the protein efficiency ratio. So once again, the microbes are going to work, as a friend of human nutrition, in many different ways. And there's another aspect to this too, and that is that although we know that probiotics are defined as live microorganisms that confer benefit to the host, there is a bunch of research coming out now on what are called heat-killed probiotics, or heat-killed. I would encourage listeners, if they went to Google and you just type in heat-killed lactobacillus, and in particular heat-killed lactobacillus plantarum comes from plants. That particular microbe has been studied not just in animal studies, but in human studies as well, for promoting immune benefits and so forth. We're learning that the immune system is responding to the structure of the microbes. They need not necessarily be alive. I'm not touting them as probiotics. I'm just simply making the point that many of the things that we take in, the microbes in fermented foods, some of them may not be living as they would be in a good quality probiotic. However, that doesn't mean that they are inert.
They still are beneficial. All right. This is good stuff. LTN Coast to Coast. We'll be back.
Are your joints feeling out of date and stiff? Is that old sports injury flaring up? Is your body aching from the daily wear and tear at work? Body Vigor's Joint Ready keeps you at the ready for any joint pain that gets out of line. Unfortunately, as we age, joint pain becomes more common. Body Vigor's Joint Ready can help provide relief so you can continue to go about your day. Our formula contains sulfated forms of glucosamine and chondroitin. Studies show that these sulfated forms are more effective than regular glucosamine bound to hydrochloride. Joint Ready promotes a healthy inflammatory response, facilitates cartilage synthesis, and provides additional antioxidants. Keep your joints at the ready with Body Vigor's Joint Ready, exclusively on Amazon.com.
question of the day. Earlier in the show, I was talking about something that's used for people to try and lose weight. It turns out that this something ended up doing more harm than good. And I'll explain further. So here's the question. What is the something that I'm referring to that people consumed that, in fact, did not help them to lose weight? Was it A, artificial sweeteners, B, fiber, C, fermented foods, or E, none of the above, or D, none of the above? Which one of those? Or was it none of those? None. Was it artificial sweeteners, fiber, or fermented foods that ended up being more of a foe than friend? Here's a number to call to win a $25 supplement gift card.
877-897-8255. 877-897-8255.
Here's the hint. Typically, if it's not natural, it's unnatural and not a good idea. Dr. Logan, welcome back.
Hello.
Hi. We're showing a nice image of you, and there's a body of water behind you. Is that from Australia?
Yes, I think it is. It's probably the one clipped from the website, so I would imagine it is.
You have a white
waterfall?
No, you have a white shirt on, looks like a black jacket. You have, no sunglasses.
Yeah, that's Australia for sure.
Yeah, and that's where you are today. What city?
It's in Western Australia, in Perth.
In Perth, okay. Do you like it there?
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, it's very Mediterranean. It's very similar to Southern California in the weather. So it is wintertime here right now, but it's it gets cold at night, but in the daytime it's really nice. Sort of LA in the winter.
My understanding is they're having health issues down there with diet and weight and overweight and obesity too. As I did my research.
Oh, without question. It's just not that far removed from the North American situation. I think it's a crisis in all westernized nations, and the westernized habits have spread like a plague, like a smallpox that's been carried into so-called developing nations. We're bringing so many good things, but we're bringing a lot of multinational problems as well.
We haven't talked. I want to go back to that joint product from Genuine Health. I know that's the first time we mentioned it. I was looking at it. I think it merits some mention here. They make an interesting claim. They say that it will help reduce discomfort and pain within 5 days. That's a pretty extraordinary claim.
It's an extraordinary claim. I agree with you. And the reason why, in Health Canada runs a very tight ship, and it's a Canadian company, and claims like that are not given out easily. Their Natural Health Product Directorate falls under Health Canada's purview, and the research is in place in order to couch that claim, because in the clinical research, it's separated from placebo in as little as 5. I think technically it says in as little as 5 days. I think that's what it technically says.
Yes.
I think, to me, expectations based on the published research overall on eggshell membrane, there's probably about 4 clinical studies on it now.
4. Mm-hmm.
Would be more in the range of 30 days. I'm not saying people won't respond to it. There's a reason why that's there. But I guess I'm saying it because I wouldn't want someone to take that and think, well, I didn't see results after 5 days, so
right.
I'm out.
Yes.
But the main thing about that in comparison to glucosamine or chondroitin is that the research shows that it's fairly rapid, because it's actually anti-inflammatory in its mechanisms. That's how it works. That's likely to be the reason why it's so effective so rapidly, because of the anti-inflammatory properties.
Where's the company located?
Out of Toronto, and they do manufacturing on the west coast of Canada.
Have you tried it?
It's been a long time.
I'm sorry? I'm sorry. What did you say?
I was just going to say they're not a new kid on the block. They're really a long established and trusted company throughout Canada for 25 years. It's a mom and pop company. The owner of the company, Stuart Brown, is a wonderful guy. They're a B Corp company as well. I think I should mention that, which again sets a standard. Independent auditors come in and they really they see how you go about your business from top to bottom, whether you're in it for a buck or whether you're in it for the community at large. So I think listeners may be interested in pursuing what B Corp, which stands for Benefit Corp, actually means.
Mm-hmm. Let's go to St. Petersburg, Florida. Tom, welcome to the show. It's great to have you on, Tom.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. So what was that thing I was talking about that people take to lose weight, but in this piece of research found out that it ended up doing more harm than good? Was it artificial sweeteners, fiber, or fermented foods, or none of the above?
Artificial sweeteners.
Yeah, artificial sweeteners. The other day I saw that guy put 4 packs. 4 in a venti cup, 20-ounce cup. I said, my God, it'd be so sweet it hurt my teeth. I don't know. He was trying to lose weight. He was a little chunky. I mean, he wasn't obese, but I could see he was on, trying. He thought he was doing a good thing.
I've read that it actually makes you increases your weight.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what this study was showing too. Congratulations, you won a $25 supplement gift card.
Thank you, Doctor.
My pleasure. We're out of time, Dr. Logan. Always a pleasure to have you on. I appreciate you being willing to step into the minefield with me and to mention that sometimes egg, milk, and some of these things that we consider the best and wholesome of all foods can be difficult and cause problems, and that the gut microbiome is implicated in all of this. That's a narrative that's unfolding, isn't it?
It is, and it's always a pleasure to speak with you, and I'm looking forward to being down there with you in person.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Let me know when you get back into Manhattan, okay?
Will do.
All right.
Looking forward to it. All the best, guys.
You take care. Best to you as well. Thanks for tuning in today. We appreciate your listenership. We don't take you for granted. And every single listener and viewer and every affiliate and every health store that is in the reach of this store, it's, we're all in this together. We're trying to find our way to take charge of our health, because our health is our wealth, and our health is the wealth of those that care about and love.